I'm Aaron. It's been a little bit since the last video. I've been trying to get some stuff done on the 49 to get ready to install the Holley Sniper. I got all the wiring finished for the chassis and the engine. And so now we're at a point where we can put the Holley Sniper on. So that's what we're gonna do this video. I'll do a little walk around here and show you, the wiring finished. It's not all loomed and tied up and neat yet because some of the wiring for the Sniper is gonna take the same route. So I wanted to make sure I could put all that together to keep it clean. So we'll just do a walk around, show you the little stuff that I've done to get it ready for installing the Holley Sniper, and then we'll go ahead and put it on. We got the engine bay pretty much all finished up. Made spark plug wires. Got the distributor cap all on and everything. We got all the wiring hidden behind it. Once it's all loomed up, you won't hardly see it. Got all the wires run to everything. All the wiring inside the cab is done. There's 3 wires here. They all have to connect directly to the Sniper. Can't really see very well, but the wiring's there and routed halfway decent. Just needs to all be cleaned up. I went ahead and got the panel that I had made put in and got the display put in for the Sniper. Got tranny cooler lines run, got the exhaust mocked up, got the drive shaft back in. Just a bunch of little stuff. And then we made our own little pass through for the firewall here. I don't know how well you can see it. Keep the wires running through there clean. I got all the wires for the Holley Sniper run through there already, and the plugs are just hanging on the other side of the firewall waiting to be hooked up. And so that's where we're at right now. Obviously the throttle body is already mounted on the engine. It's been on there for all the videos pretty much. So we're gonna go ahead and start hooking it up. Made a rookie mistake and forgot to turn the mic on the camera on this part. I'm basically just saying that I'm using Permatex number 2 for a sealant on the fittings, and we're putting them in the fuel pump sending unit to get ready to put the fuel lines on. Alright, I'm just going to jack it up real quick to make it easier to get underneath it and run all the lines and everything. So we're going to use this fuel hose that was supplied with the Holley Sniper kit. Also came with an inline fuel filter we're going to stick over here in the frame rail. We're just going to go ahead and run one line at a time up to the throttle body. We'll do the first one, and then we'll come back around the second one, and then we'll tie them all up to the frame rail and all that stuff. On here, it's labeled. You got your supply in return. One's got an S, one's got a R. Doesn't go on very easy. Makes for a better seal. The kit came with a different style hose clamp. I don't care for them that much, so I just got these. Any hose clamp will work. Since all the training cooler lines and electrical lines and everything are running down the driver's side, or the passenger side, I'm sorry, I'm going to take the fuel line, run it down the driver's side, keep it neat. Right about here, I'll throw a fuel filter in it. I'm going to go ahead and feed this in all the way through the frame rail, so that it's running the way we want it and we're not fighting it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take some clamps and start routing this so that I got it sitting exactly where I want it for my filter. For right now, I'm just going to throw a self-tapper in it until we get all the lines done, and then I'll come back and put a bolt in it. And we'll go ahead and hook this line up. I'm going to go ahead and move you guys up to the front so you can see what we're doing up there. Alright, the kit came with these Earls vapor guard press-on fittings. So we ran our hose up to where we're going to need it, and then we're going to put this end on and it screws right into the throttle body. What I like to do, I just screw just the fitting on first. And I got my hose routed how I want it. And I'll get my length. Go ahead and take this back off. Suppose you could just push it on with it screwed on there, but I don't want to put the stress on the fitting on the throttle body. It's your AN style fittings. If you just use a regular wrench on them, it mars them up real bad. So you can get crescent wrenches like these, or they actually sell a kit that has every size in it. You don't really want to crank on these because you'll strip them out. You just want to make sure they're good and tight. And then we're gonna start at the back and do the same thing for the return line. All right, so we're done running the feed line. We're gonna go ahead and run the return. This line does not come in the kit, but it's a low pressure. There's hardly any pressure in the return, so you just want to get some good 3/8 fuel line. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with the feed line. Just hook it up, we'll clamp it and run it along the frame here. Now we're going to go ahead and take out the self-tappers we put in for these P-clamps yesterday. Then I'm going to use the self-tapper holes as a guide. I'm going to open them up to a little bit. Put P-clamps on this line here. And then I got some bolts. We'll go ahead and bolt those together like that. Separate the lines. Alright, I just got to tighten those down, and then I'm going to run this up along the frame, along the feed line. And I'll clamp it all along the frame. Then I'll meet up with you guys up front to hook it up. Okay, I got the line all run. I clamped it all up from the back, all the way up the frame rail. We're going to take it, run it, route it along the pressure line. Follow the same path. And we're going to bring it over to the other side for the return. We'll mark it, cut it off where we need it. Alright, that should work. Okay, we got our fuel lines all run, they're all tied up. I'll grab you guys here and show you. All our wiring is in the throttle body. Computer and everything's inside the throttle body. So you got 3 sets of wires here that come out. The small one goes to your display, which I'll show you here in a little bit. And then you got 2 thicker ones that are your harnesses for everything else. I took them back here and showed you before. I made my own bulkhead fitting out of a piece of rubber and cut some plates. The wires fit nice through there. So we'll go on the other side and take the harnesses and hook into those. The other wires that come off of this throttle body are the temperature sender wire, and we got that run over. I'm gonna find a way to route this a little bit neater, but that runs over and plugs in there. And then you got one other wire that comes off of it here, and this is gonna go down to your O2 sensor that goes down in the exhaust, and that's what we're gonna do next. So this is what comes in the kit for the O2 sensor. Obviously you got your O2 sensor with the plug that plugs into the harness on the throttle body. And then there's multiple ways you can do this. You can drill a hole, weld a bung for the O2 sensor and the exhaust, but the kit comes with this clamp-on bung, comes with a exhaust gasket, and it comes with this plate that goes, dang it. Comes with this plate that goes on there, and you can see it's threaded. The O2 sensor will screw right into it. So what you're gonna do is, I'll take you underneath and do a time lapse while I install it, but you wanna, if you have a catalytic converter on your car, you want the O2 sensor to go between the exhaust manifold or header and the catalytic converter. This doesn't have catalytic converters. I usually go with a general rule of thumb. I like the O2 sensor to be about 12 to 20 inches behind the collector where it connects to your exhaust manifold. If it's in a header, you can put a bung in the collector, and you want to put your O2 sensor on top, like say like 2 o'clock. If you're looking at the end of an exhaust pipe, 2 o'clock, so it's kind of more toward the top and facing downward. You don't want it to come straight in from the bottom or the side, because all the condensation that gets made in the pipe from the exhaust with the different temperatures, so the water will get into the sensor and short it out, and then your system won't work right. And so you want to make sure you run your wires away from any heat sources. You don't want it laying on top of the manifold or on the exhaust pipe or anything like that. So I'm gonna get my stuff together to put this on, and then I'll go underneath and get going on it. Okay, so we got the O2 sensor done. The only thing we got left to do is the wiring. So we're gonna get started on that now. We have 3 harnesses here. That's the main harness. There's another harness here. I'll show you the plugs these go to here shortly. And then this is ignition coil driver. I don't think we need to use that with this setup because we have a coil feed. But the first thing we're going to do is grab this main harness. Everything's labeled really nice, makes it easy, shows you. I don't know if I can get you in here where you can see it, but yeah, you can kind of see that. So it's labeled real nice. So we're going to get this over to the truck, and then we'll start running the wires for this. Okay, so we're inside the truck now. These are our 2 connectors that come off of the throttle body out there. So we're gonna take this one, this main harness, and plug it in. And these are gonna get taken and routed up, but for right now we're just gonna get them wired, and then we'll tie all this up nice when we tie everything else up. So the first wire we're going to do, we're running an HEI on this, so there's no crank signal trigger or anything like that. This yellow wire is your coil output. So we're going to add a little bit onto this, take it out, and hook it up to the coil. Alright, we got our coil wire all hooked up. Next we got this pink wire. That is the 12 volt ignition.
has to stay hot while it's cranking. So we're going to run that over. I checked the success report here on the fuse box. It is 12 volt ignition and it stays on while cranking, so we're just going to go ahead and hook that up here. I'm leaving all these wires just hanging here because I want to check and make sure everything works before I tie everything up. It's a pain in the butt if you tie it all up and make it neat and then something doesn't work right, you got to tear it all back apart and do it again. And then you're going to have a purple and a green wire that's twisted here. Those say crank signal positive and crank signal negative. We aren't using these because we don't have a crank signal. So we're going to get our feed from our coil tack wire. So then we have this blue wire here. This is fuel pump positive. Turns on the fuel pump. So if you, it has a built-in relay in the harness, and that's what your pink need power key on, or while cranking is. That's your trigger for your, to keep the relay going for your fuel pump. So we already have our fuel pump wire here in the cab from when we originally wired it. Just gonna take this blue wire. This red wire is our wire going back to our fuel pump. Okay, and then the only two wires we have left in this harness are the red wire and the black wire, which are battery positive, battery negative. And these have to be hooked directly to the battery. I mean, I guess they probably don't have to be, but that's what they recommend. So our battery's over here underneath the passenger floorboard. I don't want to have any exposed wires in the cab, so we're going to run these back out the firewall here, and then we'll run them down with the other wires going out to the starter and whatnot, and bring them back up and hook them up to the battery. Okay, I got my wires routed up here. Obviously red goes to positive, black goes to negative. I got these, my positive and negative battery posts have the jumpers on them for a second wire, so we're just going to use those. Alright, that's going to do it for that harness. We'll clean those up and reroute them and all that when we do the rest of the wiring. I'm going to go grab the other harness and then we'll see where we got to hook that up to. Okay, so this is the 10-pin connector. This is the other harness. You'll notice I cut off all the wires except for one. Left a little length on there just in case. This light blue wire is going to be fan 1 ground trigger. All these other wires are triggers for different functions. You can have a second fan. You can turn your AC on and off and stuff like that. This truck's basic bare bones. It doesn't have any AC or any of that stuff, so I don't need any of these. But I'm leaving some length on there just in case later on something gets added. You can just hook up to it. So this light blue is my fan control. I have my wire in here for my fan from when I wired it before, so I just have to plug this in, hook this one wire up, and that completes the install of the Holley. Alright, we got everything hooked up. We're going to go in the truck now, turn the key on, and see what we get. There's our dash panel that we made to put the display for the Sniper in. And turn on the key. Well, did something right. It's coming on. Okay, now you want to go to Wizards. Basic. Back. Okay. Select. Number of cylinders. Pick 8. I'm trying to focus in on this. It's not working. Engine displacement. Got a little slide bar here. This is 350. Next, target idle speed. You want to do your target idle speed when it's hot. So we're going to set ours about we're going to put it at 800 for now. We can always change it later if we want. Cam type, we're going to choose stock or mild. It has a mild cam in it, but it's not nothing major. RPM to Sniper. Ignition type, it's going to be coil. Next, and hit start. And that should be it. Well, while we're in here, we'll go ahead and check out the rest of our electronics. Key on. Got our gauge sweeps, so looks like they're doing good. Got gauge lights when we turn the headlights on. We got headlights out there. High beam indicator works. Check our turn signals. We got indicators over here. Left turn, right turn. Looks like everything's doing pretty good. So, thank you all for watching. That's going to do it for this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Like, share. The next video is going to be starting this thing up. So
Make sure you subscribe so you can check that out. And y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.